you're a Muslim and you're quite open about it, and you follow your faith quite strongly, correct? I mean, which makes you very unusual amongst racing drivers.
Yes, well, especially this lockdown. With every bad thing in life, there's also a good thing to come out of it. And I used it to just learn more about my religion that I couldn't do when I was younger, because I was always traveling, racing, and I've learned even more about Islam, and it's such a beautiful religion. I'm really proud to be a part of it,
There is a lot of talk about ethnic minorities at the moment, and I think in your sector, in your area, Muslim community, one of the problems you have is the generational feel, correct? And you have a lot of families of various generations living together, which is obviously an issue in this situation. But having said that, in general, the Muslim community looks to be doing quite well, COVID-wise.
Yes, well, generally, especially particularly with the British Asian community, we have the elder people tend to get illnesses, like diabetes is very common, things like that. And also in my culture is we look after our parents. We to the day they pass away, we never let them go. And my mum has 10 brothers and sisters, my aunties and uncles, and they look after my grandmother, for example. And in our culture, we stick together as a family like glue. Like we never leave like the grandmother's house, you could say, until you get married. But even when you get married, you're still there a lot. And now since this lockdown, because we have to be careful with my grandmother, because she's very old and she has health problems as well. It's a shock because now only one person can stay with her, my auntie, and she doesn't leave the house either, because obviously if she leaves, she can get it without knowing. And usually in that house, there's like 5, 6, 7 people staying there. Usually in our culture, that's normal. So that's the difference.
And I'm putting the COVID experience to one side and just talking about the fasting and working out, which I guess you're having to do now because the season is going to restart at some point. Just to go through that, you're not eating any food or drinking any fluids at all, including water during the day. And so within the period when you're working out, you're not taking any fluids in.
No, 100%. That's what makes it harder. So actually now after I do the interview with you, because we break the fast today it breaks at 8:40 around that time, or 8:35. So up until then, when I finish the interview with you, then I'll be doing some exercise, because if I do it too early on in the day, I'll be way too thirsty. The main thing you feel more than hunger, for me, hunger is not too bad. It's the thirst. You really appreciate water, which we all take for granted, like drinking. Like we drink so much liquids throughout the day, and when you really can't have a liquid, you really see the effects of how much it affects your body when you're not able to be hydrated properly.
Well, when we hear so much about the importance of hydration and water in any athletic environment, it reminds me a little bit actually of cricket-wise. You probably don't know about cricket, but I was actually at the Oval Test. It must have been, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, when Hashim Amla, who's a Muslim South African player, hit. I think he scored something over 300, like 311, which was a massive score. He batted for 2.5 days or something in heat during Ramadan, and they have drinks breaks in big international cricket matches every hour, I think, and not once in any of the drink breaks did he take a sip of water. And I thought, I was just blown away. But I'm blown away actually by what you just said as well. I think it's amazing how strong your faith is for you, and that you can do that. And again, all I can say is hats off. Really impressed.
Yeah, well, fasting is really, 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 really important in my religion. It's like something that to show your devotion to God, and it also makes you appreciate what other people. The reason why, like when people fast for a benefit, like if they're not for a religious reason, they just don't have food and they drink water. But for us, we don't have the water as well, because it's to make you appreciate people who don't have access to either around the world. And when you do it, it really teaches you about patience, because I'm still doing stuff that I would normally do in the day, like I'm doing my simulator every day. And in the beginning of the fasting, it was really hard to keep my patience and my anger subdued when something bad happened, like if I get crashed into an iRacing or something. But now, like, it's taught me how to be really calm and have patience,
Yeah, well, brilliant.